If you were to cut a hologram into tiny little pieces, the smallest of that hologram would hold the whole picture. Did God fracture himself and create all of us? Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. You are a very powerful being of divine code and creates reality through your resonance of the collective power of attention. They know this and build energy grids of fear, division, hate, and perpetual war, and visual effects of your programs that keep your divine code in lower forms of light. When you add the power of belief to the souls divided, this manifests it into our reality through resonance of attention, through the power of the collective. They build these spiritual demonic grids to keep us in lower forms of collective consciousness, always warring with each other and stuck in karmic loops. We have access to the divine grid. In this next episode, it will explain how we can access this. When you watch movies that are demonic in nature, it sinks your light to those levels of frequencies, creating the grid. Now magnify that by millions, and each home becomes part of this lower frequency grid. You cannot create heaven on earth by raising hell's frequencies.
Scientists took a photon, a particle of light. This is the stuff that atoms are made of. They took a single photon. They wanted to create two identical photons, so they took the one and broke it into two separate photons so that each one would have identical properties. And those two photons, they isolated into a chamber, and from this chamber they used fiber optic cables moving in opposite directions, and one cable went 7 miles to a town 7 miles away. The other cable went 7 miles to another town 7 miles away. From the place where these photons began, each of the photons was shot 7 miles in opposite directions, so when they reached their targets, they were 14 miles apart, and this is where the experiments actually began. Because what the scientists found was whatever they did to one of the photons in one location, in one moment in time, the other photon acted like it was having exactly the same experience at exactly the same moment in time. They used atomic clocks to tell them how long it took, how much time did it take for the information to move from one photon to the other. And this is where the problems began, because the atomic clock said the time was 0. There was no lag time. It was instantaneous. This breaks the rules of Einstein's theory of relativity.
The physics of attention, why what you notice expands attention, equals a rendering directive. Scientific explanation. 1. Attention is not passive, it is selection. What you call attention is not just noticing something, it is selecting a data stream from the field. Your brain receives billions of sensory bits per second. You consciously perceive around 40. Those 40 are not random. They are chosen according to your identity code, your expectations, your emotional state, and your past pattern history. Attention equals selection of which slice of reality you allow to render. 2. The field responds to what you highlight. In a rendered universe, attention works like a cursor. Where you place the cursor, the system increases resolution, increases detail, increases synchronicity, increases probability. This is why the more you fear something, the more evidence appears. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because your renderer is allocating resources there. This is also why gratitude, awareness, and RCA expand what you value. 3. Attention creates a feedback loop.
Every time you notice something, two things happen. Neurological reinforcement. New neural pathways strengthen what matters. Field reinforcement. The mirror amplifies the signal you are emitting. So attention, experience, reinforcement, more attention, more experience. This is why people stay stuck in loops. The loop is unconscious, not malicious. 4. Attention is the root of timeline selection. Changing your timeline does not start with action, it starts with redirected attention. When you shift attention, you are telling the renderer, allocate processing power here. This is the direction of the next frame. This is why when someone shifts identity, their whole world changes. Different people appear, different opportunities emerge, different thoughts come in, different synchronicities activate. Because attention updates the rendering pipeline. The physics of attention, why what you notice expands. Attention equals a rendering directive. This is the physics of consciousness, what we call field physics, the science of the I am that lives within us all.